Okay, Laís, I think you're quite popular in the Malaysia scene, maybe even Asia. So why Malaysia? Why all the way to Malaysia?
I think it was serendipity. I came to Malaysia to work in a tech company, and that brought me to be inspired to work with the community in here as well. So at first I was gonna work as entrepreneurship coordinator in Mind Valley. And in the first month from arriving in Malaysia, I decided to keep organizing Startup Grind, which was a community I used to organize in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And from organizing it here, it suddenly gained more relevance than I would expect. I was very lucky to get here in the moment where initiatives such as Magic were just starting, and the ecosystem was asking for initiatives like Startup Grind to get people together and to create connections, meaningful connections and serendipity. So I was lucky to have a very powerful tool, Startup Grind brand, and a very good content in hands, and a good excuse to bring the ecosystem together. So I was very lucky to meet many people at the same time, and somewhat to become a lighthouse monthly for these guys. I was living in Argentina because I was working in an accelerator, a startup accelerator, and that's how I got into tech, in the tech scene. I always knew I wanted to work with entrepreneurs. I always wanted to help people developing themselves personally. That's what I did before getting into the startup scene. And joining this accelerator, I got connected with the startup scene in Buenos Aires. And I started organizing Startup Grind in Buenos Aires. And that's how I got passionate about the scene. Yeah.
So in Malaysia, what do you love about Malaysia besides the tech ecosystem?
To be very honest, I think I learned to love anywhere that I get attached to. Maybe if I had landed somewhere else, it would be, I don't know, Botswana or Thailand. But I believe that the main thing I like in Malaysia is cheesy, but as cheesy as it sounds, it's the people and the connections I've made. I met many people here who inspired me to become who I am, and I think that what I found in Malaysia is a playground. So for the most that people criticize Malaysia, what I like the most here is like there is certain openness for you to do stuff, and people are receptive about new ideas for the most that some people deny it. And I feel an extreme freedom in here to be myself and to do different things. And else, I also love kway teow, and Nyonya laksa is my favorite dish. And I think I was Nyonya in my past life because I also like Malaysian art, the Malaysian batik, and all Nyonya, Baba Nyonya culture. And I want to have my house decorated like that. So yes, I believe that the food, the arts, and the culture are things that really got me feeling like it's my place, it's my home.
Okay, so besides building communities, I think you also have your own startup now called 8 Spaces. So what is 8 Spaces all about?
So 8 Spaces is initially the merging of two things that I love. One is sharing economy, and the other is building communities and connecting people with many meaningfully. So in the part of engineering serendipity, we allow people to meet through physical spaces. And in the part of sharing economy, of optimization of idle spaces, we allow people to find spaces where they could create, work, meet, or do anything they need. So I'm inspired by the breather model in the US, and so far we have been testing traction in Malaysia. We gotta say the market is yet a little bit green and we are testing things, but our principles are mainly that we are bringing content to these physical spaces as an excuse to get these people together.
Last question. So what's your opinion about Malaysian ecosystem generally, specifically, and Asia generally?
It's a quite broad question. There's no doubt that the market itself, consumer market, is huge and it's a huge opportunity. There's no doubt that Indonesia is the largest market for consumers, and that's the most hot and attractive. And at the same time, I find that Singapore is definitely the tech hub, which due to tax incentives and government working hard on it for more years, it's currently the hub which has attracted the biggest companies. So it also generates the most density if you want to meet people in the scene and get mentored or get inspired by other entrepreneurs who are mainly sometimes from abroad. I think they are not majority, I dare say they're not majority from Singapore, I don't have the data though. So I think these are two very important players, and then you have these blooming countries like Thailand with a huge market, Vietnam with a huge market, and then you have and the Philippines as well. Some of these countries have very challenging infrastructure. So just giving an overall view of it to say how Malaysia plays a role in it, I believe Malaysia is a very good launch pad. Although its market is very small, it gives you a very good lab, which at the same time shares a bit of the culture of Indonesia. So if you want to do a mice lab test, with a market. At the same time, getting ready to the largest market of Southeast Asia, which is Indonesia, because of the language, which is Bahasa Malay and Bahasa Indonesia, that we kind of share past cultural similarities. I believe Malaysia is a very good launchpad for you to play with good infrastructure, mostly English-speaking population, very nearby to Singapore, for you to test ideas with a cheaper cost, and at the same time be at the border of expanding your business into Indonesia. So I believe Malaysia is in a very good advantage as a laboratory, as a launchpad, and it plays a very strategic role for early budding, like for budding entrepreneurs, for early stage entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.